Hey everyone, this is a short video on the week 2 application assignment. I'm going to talk about Adler's two definitions of justice and fairness. I'm going to talk about the term equity because I think many people misuse it. And so we'll get there. So Adler gives us a definition of justice, and it's this. It is just to ensure that people have access to the things they need to survive and thrive. And in this, he fits cleanly with our Declaration of Independence: life, liberty, and the pursuit, but not the promise, of happiness. He's fine with that. But he also adds things like education, maybe healthcare, right? Because he's talking about surviving and thriving. And so education and healthcare could probably be wrapped up into that. And he says it's unjust to prevent people from access to those things. It's unjust to prevent people from pursuing their happiness, such that it's a reasonable pursuit of happiness. And it's unjust to prevent them from the things they need to live and to prosper. Fair. Then he gets into a discussion of fairness, and this is where the equity discussion will come in a moment. He says fairness is treating equals equally and treating unequals unequally in proportion to that inequality. And so here's an example. Twins, obviously the same age, they're twins, and they do the same work around the house. It is appropriate to give them an allowance of equal amounts, $50 a week, $100 a week, $10 a week, whatever. Whatever jobs they're doing, they can do the same jobs, they have the same capabilities, and they do share jobs. And so they get paid the same amount. Equals being treated equally. They bring the same skills and capabilities to the table. They produce the same output. They're treated equally. But let's say one of those siblings is 17 and the other one is 8. Now we have unequals, right? The 17-year-old can handle much more complex tasks, and maybe handle heavy, dangerous machinery. I don't know, lawn equipment and power tools, who knows what. And the younger one is doing things like sweeping and mowing. So those are unequals, and so they should be treated unequally in proportion. The older one gets paid $50 or $60 a week, and the younger one gets paid 10 or 15. Right? It would be ridiculous to pay one of them $10,000 a week and the other one $10 a week. Right? There's a reasonable proportion. They're children, they're not adults yet, 17 and 10 or 17 and 8. Right? So they're young people doing jobs, but they're different jobs, and so they get paid differently. And we think about this reasonably all the time in all sorts of workplaces. Right? Different jobs get paid differently. So equity comes in because many people use this term, and I think they use it incorrectly. I know they use it incorrectly. Technically, equity is, at the end of the day, everybody is paid the same or provided the same things. For example, I am an assistant professor, and the president of the university is, well, the president of the university. And in an equitable, truly equitable society, we would get paid the same. We would have similar houses. We'd have similar cars. Of course, that's not the case. President Hawkins brings a lot more to the table than I do, and so she's compensated quite differently than I am, and within reason, it's within proportion, probably. Anyway, this is an important distinction to make, and you can say, okay, well then what is equality? Well, in our society, we can think of equality in a few different ways. The Declaration of Independence gives us some insight. Legal equality, political equality, even social equality to an extent. We try to get people to a starting point of being treated equally and seen as fungible or of equivalent status, and then what you do determines the rest. But in an equitable society, that would not be the case. Doesn't matter who you are, what you do, or what you're capable of. Doesn't matter what education you've had. Everybody gets the same. And so you're welcome to have either of those perspectives. That's not the point. The point is to know the difference between the two. And we are not a perfectly meritocratic society either. We do all sorts of things to try to help out the disadvantaged in all different sorts of ways, based on a demographic group, an age, an ethnicity. Take your pick. Right? If you come from a poor background or a poor part of town, there are programs that you might have access to that give you a leg up because of the circumstances in front of you are more challenging than the circumstances in front of anyone else or someone else. So, justice is having access to the things you need to survive and thrive, and it is unjust to prevent someone from getting their things that they need to survive and thrive. Fairness is treating equals equally and unequals unequally in proportion to that inequality. So to be clear, Adler and our declaration offer no support for equity. So don't be confused about that. You're welcome to believe that equity is the right way to do things. That's just not what those authors are talking about. Have a good week, day, whatever.